In this song lesson, we're going to take a look at a classic Michael Jackson song, Billie Jean. It's very popular for bass players because it has such a recognizable bass line. Now, in the record, there's a bass guitar, but there's also a synth bass kind of playing along with it. So in some places, there's octaves that really would be hard to play on one instrument. But the part I'm going to show you, I think, is going to work just fine when you're playing with a band, just by yourself without the synth bass. In the beginning, the drums just start out by themselves, and then the bass line is really the first thing that you hear and sort of becomes the cornerstone of the song. It's in the key of F sharp minor, so we're going to be playing low on the neck. And basically, it uses this pattern that repeats itself on a couple of the different chords, and it's pretty straight ahead. And it goes something like this. Now, if you notice the pattern I'm using, because we're in F sharp minor, I'm using the pentatonic minor scale. It's all built around that pentatonic minor scale. And we start with the F sharp, and then we go to the C sharp, which is the fifth, and then we go to an E, and then a high F sharp again. So we're using this sort of box pattern. Very simple. But the bass is a little bit muted, so I'm muting each note. I'm coming up off of it. I'm not making it a solid or a full-length note. It's not. I'm using a little bit of a muting technique to give it some more bounce. And then you play that a couple of times. Well, I mean, there's the intro. And then once you get into the verse of the song, this pattern is also going to repeat itself in the key of B, so which is really the fourth degree of the F sharp minor scale. And then back. So the verse structure is basically two of the rounds in F sharp, one of the rounds in B, and then back to a round in F sharp again. So it goes like this. And repeat it. Now we're going to B. And back to F. And then we go to what I call like the B section or the pre-chorus of the song. And this is where we're going to change. This is where it's really different, and we don't use the same pattern anymore. And we go to a D, which, if you're thinking about the harmony of all this, that's the sixth degree of the F sharp minor scale. So on a chord chart, this would be flat 6 major. And then it goes back to the 1 minor again. Back to flat 6 major. Back to the 1. Repeat it again. And then on the last round, it's flat 6 major. And then we go to a C sharp. And sort of build up there because we're going to go back to that same pattern from the beginning. So let me play the B section again. And here's the N. And we're back to the verse part. Pre-chorus. sharp, so forth and so on. The form of the song you can get from the record, but those are the basic parts that you're going to be going back and forth between. And I think the key thing in this song, or from a technique standpoint, is that muting of the strings in the verse part, to learn how to get that to pulse right. I think that's an important thing to learn as a bass player, is to make sure the length of your note is being controlled. It'll make it more percussive, and I think people will enjoy the groove better when you do it that way. So that's Michael Jackson's Billie Jean.